Hi guys, today I have a charger to look at, and this one is from Dollar Store. So from time to time in Dollar Store you have these brand names, like this one is General Electric, and it is kind of looked promising to me because it looked kind of beefy, and it promises 2.1 amp charging current and or output current, and it has two plugs. And the most important thing, it serves as a night light. Whoa, crazy, eh? Hope it's gonna be kind of not too bright or something like that. All this gibberish, typical stuff, and obviously packaging is neat and nice in comparison to other stuff I review here. The only downside of this thing, it's not available anymore in Dollar Store. So I have it for quite a while. It just was sitting there. I decided to look into it and review it finally. But unfortunately, it's not available in Dollar Store anymore. But if you see it somewhere else, like in Walmart or something else, and it's something worth buying, and it doesn't cost a lot, you can totally get it. Or maybe it's gonna show up in Dollar Store again. Anyways, let's get to it. Okay, so this is nice packaging, and it's not easy to open, and obviously I'll try not to cut myself, and probably I'm gonna need the most favorite tool here. I don't know if there is any manual inside, so I'm gonna just cut it. Oh yeah, here we are, maybe. Wow, this is so much more serious packaging than in comparison any other product I ever reviewed here, just which are some generic Dollarama brand. And obviously this sort of packaging is really hard to open. You either cut yourself or whatever. By the way, I don't know why this ended up in Dollar Store. Usually stuff ends up in Dollar Store which never got sold anywhere else, or overstock items or things like that. Okay, we are in. So what we have here? So we have a portable, because of the, I believe because of the folding prongs, power supply or charger. This power supply 5 volt, and it's nicely. It has all required certification, I believe, even patent pending things like that. Which actually means this is pretty decent charger, just looking by it. On it, and obviously I'll try to look what's inside. I hope it's not gonna be glued or whatever shut that I won't be able to open it, and I had to like use Dremel in order to cut it. So this is nice, very nice pink plastic. Yeah, I think I chosen the pink version just because it kind of look nice, and I don't know what kind of color would be of the night light. I believe over here somewhere it looks like it's gonna be blue, which is kind of okay. Alright, so we have it. So what can we do? Let me try to open it, but I try to do it off camera because it may take quite a while. Turned out to be opening of this thing was quite simple task. This thing was just barely glued, and I just used this little plastic thing just to run it around and pop it open. So yeah, so if I want to make it operational again, I just glue it together. I'm gonna glue it together because you never know what kind of circuits are in here, just to make sure it's not gonna fry me or electrocute me. Right off bat we have two USB ports and two LEDs over here, and they're gonna be probably working as a night lights. Let's go further. So I've zoomed in a bit to see better, and also shut down my 3D printer when it's finished print job. I hope it was not too loud. Alright, so what you see right off the bat here. So we see some filtering capacitors. I do believe they are, and another thing is some sort of, I think it's diode over there, and some passive components on this side. Okay, let's take a look further down or deeper. Probably I'll have to use something like these, just to pry it open. Or okay, it's coming. Yeah, these cannot be pushed all the way down, so I have to just pull it. I hope there is wire. Oh, What? It's just like that? Oh wow, that's a nice design. I'm loving it. Huh, that's cool, that's cool. So what do we have here? So this is definitely very, very promising design over here. Look at this insulation cutouts and some plastic insulations here. Insulation over here. This is all like to insulate primary from secondary, and everything nicely elastic together. Well, I'm really impressed. For like, I mean, $4 is not cheap, I must say, anyways. But like, I think this is pretty decent for $4, and looks like it's properly populated, nicely manufactured. But the most interesting part of these are these two contacts over here. If you look deeper, let me fold this down there. So it looks like when you are sliding this just like that, right? You can sliding this, it's gonna just am I sliding it correctly? Yeah, it's gonna contact those two mains prongs from on other side, which has by the way has another insulation kind of plastic over there. So this is really well done in comparison to other things I've opened, and I'm impressed. So let's take this is very nice design right off the bat. It looks pretty good. So let's take a look at this little PCB now. Okay, I tried to look first what are the components around here, because everything is pretty tiny, and I couldn't really figure out what is this microcontroller over here, or power controller, because you can barely read. It's like it either scraped or kind of gooped into something. I cannot really get anything out of it. So yeah, sorry, I don't know what the hell is this. Maybe if I use some kind of microscope, maybe I'll get more info, but this is where we are. Over here, this is the bridge, obviously, for rectification. This is another diode, whole bunch of diode. This is, by the way, only the one microcontroller over here. And I also noticed there is a pair of LEDs. I assume they're gonna have the exactly same function as over here, just to create some night light. Curious what will be the current draw at this kind of night light mode. Again, there is a cutouts over here for insulation. I believe this is live, this is neutral. So on this side is pretty decent soldering job. So this is probably all machine soldered, just from what I can say, because you have these little dots of glue. Then if you look on other side, so there are these capacitors. All capacitors are some kind of Chimicon, whatever, unknown brands, but this is 400 volts. So as far as I understand, 400 volts gonna serve for quite a while, not gonna die that soon. So you have them resilience, positive protection. There is a MOV over here, which is very nice. There is also some sort of transistor, I believe, but yeah, it's unreadable because it's all the way down in here, so it's really hard to say what it is. There is one transformer and probably second transformer, because it has 1, 2, 3 leads. These belong to this transformer. I double check, and 2 leads are going here. So I assume this is primary, secondary, and this is in between primary, secondary circuits. I don't see like optical unless it's in this guy, unless this is the optocoupler. Oh yeah, another positive thing, it has fuse. Can you imagine? Like, this thing has fuse, so this is fuse. Awesome. It says I don't know, it's really hard to see. But I can see it's at 250 volts, whatever it says here. So it's very nice. These capacitors are probably filtering capacitors for these outputs, but kind of funny, this one is 680 microfarads, and this one is 270, 6.3 volts, 6.3 volt. It's kind of funny. So they kind of, yeah. And oh, it's not enough space probably here, so the clearance was not good enough. They just walked some kind of smaller capacitor. So that's it, and very nice design for $4. It's totally worth it. I think it's on par with some fancy charger ones, fancy chargers, and I totally like it, and I clearly gonna use it after I glue it back together. But as far as usage goes, let's see what it's capable of. So I'm gonna zoom out a bit, and in order to actually test capability of this thing, whatever current it can actually put out, we can use my newly acquired toy over here, which can actually make it's a dummy load. We can actually do up to 3 amps, 5 volts. Well, it can do 35 watts, but it's on a higher voltage. So let's power it up. Well, I think it's still gonna work after my it's what? Something like that. Alright, yeah, it's, if you see, it's blue, but it's like very uneven light. It's kind of one-sided and something like that. So I assume it works because these contacts over here on the PCB didn't have much of a how do you say it? It was not really secure. It just, essentially it's all holding on this lead and a little bit of friction over here. So I don't know. Well, whatever. So no throwing this stuff around. Maybe that's why I actually end up in Dollarama, because it's getting really easily to broken or something. Well, I can really nicely glue it to make sure it's never gonna happen. So let's power it up. All right, have to do it probably like that. Okay, this thing gonna power up. Okay, right now its outputs, this thing is set for 370 milliamp. Let's crank it all the way to amps. Oh, we have 2 amp. So far so good. Oh, it has protection. Haha, it has protection. So if you go over 212 is fine. 2.2 is fine actually. Well, I don't know if you can judge this thing, but okay. 2.3 amp is fine. So if you attach 2 sources, I do believe, which gonna draw 2 amp each, it's just gonna shut down. I do not believe it has separate circuits. Unfortunately, I have only one. Oh wow, this is really spinning. Unfortunately, I have only one of these dummy loads, so I cannot actually connect both of them unless I can find some kind of battery thingy and charge it from another one. Actually, I could do that. Wait a sec. Alright guys, here we are. I brought my power bank. This power bank is a hero of one of my previous video. I did tear down on it. So here we are. At the moment we're drawing like 5.1 and almost 2 amps using this dummy load, and it's getting a little bit warm. No big deal. So I attached another USB cable over here, and we can just connect it and see what's happened. So unfortunately, I cannot really show what the current gonna flow, but it's, oh my god, look at the voltage. Voltage dropped. Oh, wow, 4.5 volts. I'm not sure how much this thing is pulling out, but it's probably pulling out, as usual, it's charging at 2.4 to 240 milliamp. For some reason it doesn't go faster than that, doesn't charge at a higher rate than that. But voltage is dropped significantly. So let me crank a little bit more current to 2.3. It shut down. Yeah, this thing is not doing well with that much of a load. So 2.3 amp, 2 devices working simultaneously, is not shutting down as it used. As I was assumed, because 2.3 plus 240, it's way more than 235, but voltage is dipped. So let me crank it all the way back. So okay, when at this situation right now, I think this guy is a little bit wonky actually. So almost 5.3 volts, at 170 milliamp, and this guy probably, like in together, it's less than, it's around 400, or a little bit more than 400. Yeah, this is interesting. This is interesting. I think it's so it was overcompensating for something. Yeah, this guy is a little bit wonky. I don't know how much I can trust this particular dummy load and its outputs. I may just, it would be nice to actually to measure with proper tool or instrument, but so far. So, conclusion, for one output it works perfectly fine to 2.3 amp, maybe a little bit higher. But when you put two devices and try to charge them simultaneously, voltage drops. So, drops and behave funny when you have two devices at low current. So it's like 5.3 volts, which is, I don't think it's probably okay for some devices, but for some devices may not be okay. For cell phone may just charge a little bit faster, but anyways. Alright, so I'm still gonna use this little charger. I like it, and it produces actually quite enough current to charge quickly cell phones and little, maybe the same power bank. But yeah, it has own problems. I think it has. That's why it ended up in dollar store. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna stop my experiments on this one. So this is still pretty useful power supply, and I'll be using it to charging cell phones and probably power banks. And it has this nice blue light, but I don't really need it. So conclusion is probably worth $4, especially knowing that it's nicely designed. It has own problems though, like as we saw with the current regulation and special voltage regulation. Yeah, so if you see this thing around for cheap, you may just pick it up, just throw it in your part bin and just use it when you need to power up some, Raspberry Pi or stuff like that. Well, I hope it's not gonna jump to 5.5 volts or something like that on you. Okay, so I think we're gonna, as I mentioned, gonna wrap up. Thank you guys for being with me. See you next time.